taking a closer look at the PS5 today. Probably going to have a pretty good amount of dust on the inside. Before we get too far into opening up this system, just going to take a signal test here. So that we didn't have a signal there. I wonder if it's actually reading a signal now, but it's just blank. Yeah, we're just got a blank screen on it. And it looks like all of our pins are disconnected there. So even though we're plugged in there, we have no connection from any of those. So I'm going to say something physically is going on at the port for sure. Warranty sticker is still intact, so I should be the first one getting into the system. Okay, so taking a first look at our HDMI port, and I can tell from here, even without a microscope, it looks like that copper has pulled away and separated away from the pads on the motherboard. Your thermal paste here looks like it's kind of moved away from the top of the chip there, so we'll respread that and make sure all that's good to go. Add a little bit more. And then I've never been a fan of the stock thermal putty that they use for these PS5, so we're going to go ahead and upgrade those on this system as well. Take out the battery, and let's go ahead and put a new port on. Port underneath the microscope. You probably see a little bit about what I'm talking about there. There's a couple of plastic brackets that are kind of bent back and away from the port, and then some of that copper for those pins looks like they're lifted away from the main board. A bit of a better angle, you can tell that this is a little bit of an angle underneath the port, and these plastic brackets here are loose. You can tell that these guys are kind of stressed and bent up and to the right. So for sure, I think that this is enough for me to want to replace this. So let's go and do it. There's our old port. There's our cleaned up area of the motherboard, where we just took our port from. Brand new port. Okay, and that's our new port on. Wrong side of our board. There's our pins from the other side. We're just gonna make sure everything's soldered well before we clean everything up. But just looking underneath the microscope, everything looks great. Just gonna double check with a probe and take some measurements. Make sure we're well connected. But I guess if we get a good video, that's the ultimate test, isn't it? Okay, got our system powered on here. We do have a signal on it. Okay, taking a look at our signals here. Everything is green, everything is good. So we should have a 4K signal and everything should be well soldered and set up. We're gonna go ahead and take this and plug it into a 4K TV now. 4K monitor here. Jeanette Moncayo. Storage space, Kevin Martinez. That was kind of funny. Imagine Wagons. Okay. So those are our accounts there. We got a good 4K signal. That's a 4K monitor in the background. Obviously this still needs to be cleaned up, so that's really the last step. We just need to take everything apart one last time, get everything washed. I'm going to take it down to the plastics and the screws and get this all nice and cleaned up. I've never been a fan of the thermal putty that we have stock on these things, so we're going to go ahead and upgrade that to a, well, it's basically a military grade manufacturing for aerospace and all that. Get some really good thermal putty on there, and we should be running nice and snug. So we'll go ahead and get that taken care of, and I think we'll be able to get this back to you here and probably by Wednesday of this upcoming week. So we'll aim for that. So I just noticed that your USB ports down here are looking fairly rough. The one on the left side especially, pretty bent up, but they're both missing their housing brackets. I'm going to show you another PS5 here from a different console. This is another PS5 that I'm working on for another customer. See how there's those blue brackets that are in there? They're supposed to be there, and it's not normal that yours are missing. But I plugged in a USB port to it, and it worked just fine. But no, that's not normal. You guys might want me to replace those for you too. So I'll probably shoot you an estimate for that and see what you guys think of that too.